Hey, welcome. If you've ever been curious about what really makes your favorite apps tick, you're in the right place. Today, we're actually going to go under the hood and install a database, the engine that powers the entire digital world, right on your own computer. So let's dive in. I mean, think about it. How does your music app just know the perfect song to play next? That's not magic, not at all. It's a database doing its job. And you know what? By the end of this, you'll know exactly how to start building your own. So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about why databases are so incredibly important. Then, we're going to roll up our sleeves and install three of the biggest names out there: MySQL, PostgreSQL, and SQL Server. And we'll wrap it all up by helping you figure out which one is the perfect fit for whatever you're dreaming of building next. Okay, so before we can even think about writing those cool SQL queries and finding amazing insights and data, we have to build a home for that data. And that home, well, that's exactly what a database is. A database management system, or DBMS for short, is kind of like a super smart, hyper-organized digital librarian. It doesn't just store your data. It keeps it safe, it keeps it organized, and it makes sure you can get to it in a flash. It's really the brains of the whole operation. And I mean it when I say databases are everywhere. They are the invisible force behind your social media feed, what's in your online shopping cart, even your favorite games. So, by installing one today, you're taking your first big step to becoming a creator in this digital world, not just a consumer. All right, theory is great, but let's get our hands dirty. We're going to kick things off with a real rock star in the database world, MySQL. I can almost guarantee if you've ever used the internet, you've used MySQL. Now, here's the best part about MySQL. It's open source, and what that means is it's totally free to use, and there's this massive community of developers all over the world who are constantly making it better. That's exactly why it's the darling of tech startups and web developers everywhere. Seriously, from the blog you read this morning to that online store where you bought your last pair of shoes, there's a really good chance MySQL was humming along behind the scenes. It is the engine that powers a huge, huge chunk of the web, including massive platforms like WordPress. And don't worry, installing MySQL is surprisingly easy. You'll just download the installer, click through a few screens, and here's the most important part. You have to create a strong password for the root user. Think of that root user as the master key to your entire database kingdom. Once that's done, you're ready to start building. So how do you actually talk to your new database? Well, you use a tool called MySQL Workbench. It's like a visual dashboard. A really clean, organized playground where you can see everything that's going on. Inside Workbench, you can write your very first SQL command, something as simple as create database my_first_project. You hit run, and just like that, boom, you've created a brand new, dedicated space for your data. Okay, next up, let's meet the powerhouse of the open source database world, PostgreSQL. You see, if MySQL is all about speed and simplicity, PostgreSQL is all about power and precision. So what makes PostgreSQL so special? It's famous for being incredibly reliable, and it comes packed with a ton of advanced features, completely for free. It's like getting the professional version of a software without ever having to pay a dime.
So when would you choose PostgreSQL?
Well, you'd pick it when you're building something where the data is absolutely critical, right? Like a banking app or a scientific research database. Its rock-solid stability means you just never have to worry about your data getting corrupted. And you know what? Installing PostgreSQL is just as easy as MySQL. The process is going to feel really familiar. You download the installer, you set a password for the main Postgres user, and you'll be up and running in no time at all. And to manage your new PostgreSQL database, you'll use a tool called pgadmin. This is your mission control for everything Postgres. Inside pgadmin, you can literally just right-click, select Create, then Database, type in a name like cool_science project, and boom, you are ready to go. Okay, we've explored the open source world. Now, let's step into the corporate suite with Microsoft SQL Server. This is the heavy hitter, the database that powers the world's biggest companies. Yep, as the name suggests, SQL Server is Microsoft's baby. It's built for the big leagues. We're talking massive corporations with just mountains of data. And yeah, the full version costs a pretty penny, but, and this is the best part for us, Microsoft gives us a completely free, full-featured version just for developers. So what's the big deal with SQL Server? Well, for one, it plays perfectly with all other Microsoft tools. It has Fort Knox level security, and it comes with these amazing tools for something called business intelligence, which is just a fancy way of saying it helps companies analyze their data to make way smarter decisions. Plus, having Microsoft just a phone call away for support is a huge game changer for big companies. Installing SQL Server is kind of like a two-for-one deal. First, you'll install the database engine itself. Remember to grab that free developer edition. Then you'll install a separate tool called SQL Server Management Studio, or SSMS for short. Think of the engine as, well, the engine, and SSMS as the driver's seat and dashboard. Once you're connected, you just right-click on the Databases folder, choose New Database, give it a name, and that's it. You're officially managing an enterprise-grade database. So, congratulations! You've just installed an incredibly powerful database. But what can you actually do with it? Let's talk about how you can use it for your own personal projects and how the pros use it to power the world's biggest applications. On your own computer, your database is your personal data playground. You can use it to get really good at SQL, track your habits, or even build a cool little app just for fun. But in the professional world, these same databases are running on massive cloud servers, handling millions of transactions a second and keeping your favorite apps online 24/7. It's the same technology, just at a totally different scale. We have covered a lot of ground, so now it's time for the million-dollar question. Which one of these databases is the right one for you? Let's break it down nice and simple. Okay, here's your cheat sheet. If you want to build the next great web app, you should probably start with MySQL. If you're dreaming of working on complex, data-heavy projects where every piece of data has to be perfect, PostgreSQL is your new best friend. And if you've got your eyes set on a career at a big Fortune 500 company, learning SQL Server is the way to go. But honestly, there's no wrong first choice, only a first step. You've just unlocked a new superpower, the ability to build with data. The tools are installed, the knowledge is yours. The only thing left to do is create something. So the real question is, what will you build?